In a quiet village, nestled between mountains, lay a dense forest known as the Whispering Woods. No one dared to enter, for it was said that those who ventured in never returned the same. They spoke of the forest whispering at night, calling out to people in voices that sounded eerily familiar, like the voice of a loved one long gone. Amelia, a young woman from the village, didn't believe in the old legends. She was drawn to the woods, curious and unafraid. One chilly evening, with a lantern in hand, she stepped beyond the line of trees determined to prove the villagers wrong. As soon as she crossed into the woods, the air turned colder, and a strange mist swirled around her feet. The whispers began, soft at first, like wind through leaves. But as she moved deeper, the whispers grew louder and clearer. They called her name. Amelia, Amelia. She froze. It was her mother's voice. But that was impossible. Her mother had died years ago. Shaking off the chill creeping down her spine, Amelia pressed forward, telling herself it was just the wind. Suddenly, she stumbled upon a clearing, and in the center stood an ancient tree, twisted and gnarled. Faces, human faces, were etched into its bark, their expressions frozen in agony. Her heart pounded as she took a step back, but her feet wouldn't move. The ground seemed to pull at her, holding her in place. Then she saw him, her father. He stood just beyond the tree, his back turned to her. "Dad?" she called out, her voice trembling. He didn't respond. Slowly, he began to turn, and when she saw his face, her blood ran cold. His eyes were hollow, black pits, and his mouth twisted into a grin that stretched too far across his face. "Amelia," he whispered, though his lips didn't move. "You shouldn't have come here." Terror gripped her, but she couldn't move. The faces on the tree began to moan, their whispers turning to wails. The forest seemed to close in around her, and the mist thickened, wrapping around her like icy fingers. Her father, or whatever that thing was, reached out, and as his hand touched her, Amelia felt her skin grow cold and rigid. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. She felt herself being pulled, dragged towards the tree, her legs refusing to obey her desperate attempts to run. In her last moments, she realized the truth. The whispers weren't calling her, they were warning her. The villagers hadn't been lying. The forest claimed all who entered, trapping them forever in its twisted roots, their voices forever whispering, forever calling for help that would never come. And now, if you listen carefully when the wind rustles the leaves in the dead of night, you might just hear Amelia's voice, calling your name,